So, Bodhi and Nicholas, if you would like to start, please be my guest.
Wave the mic, it works better. Um, Presentation, yeah. Can you all see my screen? Hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So yeah, two sessions actually about Wikidata and Wikisource. First, we will do a presentation on what is already done and what is two cool kids playing together do cool things. I'm Nicolas Vigneron from the French Wikisource and a long-time Wikidatian, and I'm with Bodhi. Bodhi, can you talk quickly?
Hi, sorry, my things are like crazy going on here. Yeah, my name is Bodhi. I am from Bangla Wikisource. Yeah, that's me right now.
And the mic is working. I was checking. Perfect.
Yeah.
So first, quickly, what is Wikisource? You may recognize the logo with iceberg, which is a pun for Gutenberg iceberg. So Wikisource is a wiki, so it's free and open platform, and it's online digital library where we do transcription and proofreading of scans, facsimile of books, which are basically images, and we transform them into text to be more readable, more shareable, things like that. So it's a wiki, so it's a collaborative website. Everybody is taking part, doing what they like. And we are actually have 78 languages with their own Wikisource, 77, and one more Wikisource for all the other language, which act as an incubator. Basically, we have two types of content. We have a lot of contents in Wikisource, from poem, books, fiction, non-fiction, everything. But basically, we have the text content, and we have all the metadata about this content. And this is where Wikidata is very useful, and we integrated deeply into Wikisource. So all the metadata. So we want the metadata to be, it is, and we want it to be structured because we want to find all the books by a person, all the books on a specific genre or thema or things like that, or on a specific period. So we did it by hand, but now it's mostly stored as Q items with identifiers on Wikidata. And we fetch everything from Wikidata on Wikisource and also on comments. I will explain it a bit more. So why store them at Wikidata? As I said, it's a better place to centralize, obviously. It's better for searching and especially for querying. It can be Sparkle queries or other tools built on Wikidata or API or things like that. Wikidata is the place for data. It allows, very importantly, to avoid every redundancy, because before Wikidata, the same data was put once on comments, then on the page on Wikisource for the book, then on the page on Wikisource for the author, then on some other page, and again and again. It was not efficient, sometimes messy or inconsistent. So with Wikidata, it's all in one place, centralization. And we have regular updates, and we benefit from all the community checking things on Wikidata. And also you can do better visualization or everything you want to reuse, actually. So books, what is a book? Book can be quite complicated, because when we say book, we can mean a lot of different things. It can be a book that I have in my hand right now, but it can be also several exemplars of the same book, and it can be, oh, have you ever read Shakespeare? Yeah, but what Shakespeare? It's more the intellectual idea of a book. So we had a lot of talks, like 15 years ago, 13 years ago on Wikidata. And in the end, we chose to do the less complicated but complicated enough data model. And basically, we took the FRBR model, functional record for bibliographical records, which has 4 levels: the work, the expression, manifestation, and item. Basically, item is the book, the physical book that you can take. It's very useful for libraries. Or is it already in stores or not? And then expression and manifestation is more or less the same. It's different. It's the set of all the same copies. So in FRBR, it's 2 levels. In BibFrame, it's only 1 level. So we said, oh, 1 is probably enough. And we called it version, edition, or translation. And then you have the upper level, which is the most intangible, intellectual one, which is all the written work. So for instance, you have an individual copy of War and Peace or Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet, whatever, that you own physically. And then you have, oh, but other people have the same copy as me, over libraries, over website, you can find the same. So it's what we call version, edition, translation, or expression, manifestation. And then you have all the work for all the different version and translation. So you have a specific book in your hand. You have the book in French, it's the French translation, but there's also the English one, and English and French are tied up together with written work. So, and this is only the beginning. We put a simple slide on the show. If you follow the QR code to the Wikidata Books project, you can learn all the specificities and all the details. And oh, but I have one book, which is 1 book in French or 2 books in English. How do I deal with that? We have a solution, but I will do the general presentation right now. And if you want to know more, we will have time for questions during the workshop. So the important part is we don't use book. We have an item Wikidata for book in general, Q571, that we don't use because it's too general. We are not sure which level it is. It can be, when we say book, it's unclear. So in Wikidata, we do use only work literary for work, but mainly we will use version, edition, and translation, Q333189. Which is way clearer to say, oh, it's a physical set of same copies. And for more specifics, because I know that if you are here, you probably know a little bit about Wikidata. So we use properties, and the properties we use are what we expect to use for the data in Wikisource is obviously the big one, instance of. Author, language of work, title, translation, editor, publisher, and place of publication, and date of publication, which is specific to version edition. If you speak about a physical copy, you don't need the publication because all the copies have the same publication. It would be redundant. And if you speak about the work, you don't have publication because the work is not published. It's still an ID. Printing by, edition number, obviously for edition, volume, and very important for us on Wikisource is the document file on Wikimedia Commons, where you can see the file behind the text, and the Wikisource index page URL, so you can link to what we call the index of all the pages for a specific edition on Wikisource. So this is what we expect, but then there's the reality, and we see that I did a query, so it's fresh data from this morning for all language, and we see that we have almost more than 500,000 of instance of version, edition, translation, and you see that the property that we find the most are more or less what I said before: author, language author, title, publication date. But you see that very quickly we go very most of the work, most of the edition are missing information. Sometimes it's very important information. Like for Wikisource, as I said, we care a lot about document file and comments and Wikisource index page at the bottom, and you see that, oh, we need way more than that. And so it's a big overview of what we have. And for most of this property, we want all of them to always be present. So we know that we still have a lot of work to do. Another way to look at it is we have a page on Wikidata project books, which is called Statistics Editions by Language, where we have, if you don't know this tool, it's called Integrality. And it's very useful to see, oh, for each language, we have this number of books of, I should not say book, version edition, translation. And a lot of them have the title, which is good. Some of them have author, and you see that it's darker green when we are close to 100%. And for instance, in Swedish, half of them don't have an author. Oh, that's bad. We see it directly. It's very visual, place of publication, date of publication. And you see that the two that we care about on Wikisource, document file and comments, and index page, we are very, very low, except on Bangla, thanks to Bodhi and other people in the Bangla community, where we are close to 100%. And the property translation also is there. And we have other statistic page that you can look on the wiki project books to know more about all of that. So as I said, the metadata is stored in several places, and so we have several items and several websites. So we have the main item is usually the work, which is linked to all the Wikipedia. For instance, Romeo and Juliet has an article in French, English, and a lot of languages. And sometimes we have also a page on Wikisource for Romeo and Juliet as or War and Peace or whatever as a work. So usually this page is a list of edition of this work. And then with the property as edition in one way and edition of in the other way, we have an item on Wikidata for each of this edition 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here it's just the number, but it can also be the edition in French, edition in English, first edition in English, second edition in English, etc., etc. And you imagine for big books like the Bible, Pinocchio, all the work by big author like Victor Hugo, Shakespeare, Cervantes, Goethe, whatever, you have a lot of editions. So it's very important to have each data in the right place. And each of the edition is linked, if it exists, to the corresponding text, where you can actually read the content in the main space of Wikisource. Again, it's a simplification and an ideal situation if everything goes right. But we are working on that, and most are done already. And there's other cases like periodical and newspapers, where we have the periodical itself, which has different volume, different issues, and then inside of it is the small articles. This is where we are getting closer to Wikisite and all the projects like that. And sometimes we have the text very for all the publication like Science and Nature, which are 100 years old. We have the article which have their individual page on Wikisource also. And this is just an example for other things than regular books, but we have also models for manuscripts, which is not great. So maybe Olaf, we can talk about that and improve it, or anthology or novels or things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, Buddy, maybe you can.
Yeah, thanks, Nicola. So as Nicola said, that the benefit of keeping all the data in Wikidata is like for better search and query. So as you know that in Wikisource or in other Wikimedia projects, most of our search and query depends on the search box, which is at the top of the of every Wikimedia sites, but that does not actually reflect the data, the structured data behind, mostly coming from the unstructured way of searching our contents. So we had, as we are storing all this data into Wikidata, um, we thought maybe we can build a tool which can actually search the data right from the Wikidata database. So we have built a library catalog thanks to Mahir Morshed, who is also present here. Um, Mahir and I had worked on this tool, um, uh, basically, which is a digital library catalog, because we believe that Wikisource is a digital library and every digital library should have a catalog. But unfortunately, we didn't have that before 2023. So we had built this one. This is only working for Bangla Wikisource. It is not available for other Wikisource. Maybe we can roll out at some point. So Nicholas, can you increase the resolution at the setting? Yeah.
I don't know. Can I?
Yeah. There. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so this library catalog has actually 5 features. Can you pause it for a minute? Yeah. So can you pause the video for a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this library catalog is dependent on like 5 filters and 4 functions and 2 operators. Uh, for now, it is like title, book, author of the book, edition of the book, publisher, and translator. These are the 5 filters for now. And there are contains, and there are 4 functions, which is like contains, text matches, exact matches, starts with and ends with. So suppose we want to search a book which has a title which contains the word Japan, and it will automatically, if I search it, it will give me the results. There are 8 results for now, like which contains the title Japan in Bangla Wikisource. We can also sub-filter this book. We can run the video now. Nicola, you can run the video. Yeah. We can also sub-filter the search. So a next level of filtering depend on the different parameters. For example, the authors, you can search by authors, translators, editors, place of publication, form of works, genres, etc. So if you sub-filter one author, it will give you the result of one author, and if you unselect it, it will give you the results of other authors. So these are the sub-filters which I was talking about. You can also sub-filter by forms and genres of those books, which is actually stored in the work items, not in the editions items. And you can also add new filters. You can add as many filters as possible with operators and or. So suppose we are searching for the author whose title ends with Thakur, which is a common surname in our part of the region, and if I search it, it will sub-filter it quickly, and it will give me the result which has the title, which has the author, which title has Thakur. So this tool is actually being built right now. It is still in the still in work in progress, and it is it has some mobile support. It is also, we are also trying to have a support for OPDS. Maybe some other export support will be there, and maybe at some point we will work on cool visualizations like graphs and integrate interactive graphs. Yeah, so next slide. So we are also launching an mobile app, which is basically Wikidata based. The metadata is stored in Wikidata, and we are using that Wikidata based metadata searching for this app. We are using the Wikisource site link, and there is a specific badge, Wikidata badge, which is stored in this data, which is the proofread or validated badge, and the Wikisource index page URL. So with these three parameters, which we are searching for books which are already completed on Wikisource and has all kinds of metadata which are complete in Wikidata. The app is being built right now. It has faced one blocker right now, but we have figured out the way to bypass that. So maybe in 1 or 2 months, it will be available on Play Store. Next slide. So another benefit of keeping the data is avoiding redundancy. That means we store the data in one place and use it everyone. We do not use the data. We do not repeat the data everywhere, so that we do not have to follow the same mistakes, or we do not have to do that kind of use that kind of energy every time. So this is the commons template book template, which has a parameter called Wikidata. If you put the QID there, it will show something like this in the next slide. Something like this. It will fetch all the data from Wikidata, and it will give you all the parameters like authors, title, publisher, printers, etc. Similar thing, we have integrated Wikidata into index namespace of Wikisource. This is also available for French and Bangla and some other Wikisource, Farsi maybe, Farsi Indonesian Wikisource. So where we put the QID in one place, we do not add other parameters, we do not add the author, translator, etc. We just put the QID and it will show something like this in the next slide. Yeah, it will give me all the title, authors, place of publication, publishers, etc. So in other namespaces also. So this is the main namespace NS0 of Wikisource, where this data is being reflected as the name of the author, the picture of the author, or the picture of the translator, etc. There is another benefit for keeping the data in Wikidata is we can update the data easily. There is a tool for that, which is Listeria, but Listeria does not work for Wikisource it is not working for Wikisource for a few months now, maybe a year now. So we had to develop another tool, which is Talika. Talika is again developed by Mahir. So this is like same author, William Shakespeare, in French Wikisource and Bangla Wikisource. In French Wikisource, the data of the editions are added manually, so not using any Listeria or any other tools. Whereas in Bangla Wikisource, we are adding this data with the help of this list updating tool called Talika. So if I yeah, in the next slide, I'm saying that this data, this is an author data, author namespace, who has written all these books. So using Talika, we can filter the list based on the form of literary work, based on the creative works, and all we can also store that all the editions which is under that creative work in a very beautiful way, so that we can find it in an easy way. This is another example of work namespace. Same thing, we are using Talika there. We are putting all the editions in one place of that work. We are also using Wikidata info box and other tools which are being used everywhere. Another example, publisher namespace. This is like we are using it in Bangla Wikisource, not available in other Wikisource, but anybody can use it. Similar thing, we are using the Talika tool for there. This is another example of updating data. We update the anniversary of authors whose pages are there in Bangla Wikisource. So the authors who was born or died in this date, that list is also generated. For another benefit is visualization. So we can put all the list of authors, or other list of female authors or list of authors whose name starts with A or B or something else in a gallery form. This list is also generated by Talika. Um, and we can also use maps. I guess there will be a session on that tomorrow, but we can also use that. This is the map of all the places where any book which is there in Bangla Wikisource was published. Uh, I guess that's it. We can also talk about the text part, not only the descriptive metadata part, but we have worked on some areas on that, like annotation, like integrating with Wikidata Lexeme through Luther, which has been developed by Asaf. There is a tool called Decotech, which is available in French Wikisource, but for now we are only focusing on descriptive metadata in this session. Any questions, or should we move to the workshop?
Great, thank you both so much. I wondered, yeah, we could maybe we could have a few questions and answers, and then move into the workshop phase. But I wondered if you wanted to share the screen with the QR code, so just for a few moments, so people could, yeah, get the link to the source.
Sure. Where is it again?
One question I had was that you mentioned that the tool's only available in Bangla at the moment. I was wondering what you would need to get that available in other languages.
Uh, so we developed it for Bangla because we had this specific workflow which is totally dependent on Wikidata. We are not putting any data um, we are not storing any data locally, but that is not true for other wiki sources. So Wikisource community is very diverse. So some community like English or other maybe German, they are storing the data locally on Wikisource. So it is not a need from all the community. We developed it because we had this need. But if someone wants to accept this workflow, then it's fine. We can work on that.
Yeah, and also not all Wikisource have exactly the same model. Like for the work namespace, sometimes it's a true namespace. Like in Italian Wikisource, we have a namespace for work, which is clear separation from edition, and sometimes it's on the main namespace, just a category. So you have some not so easy stuff to hard code and say, oh, in this Wikisource they are doing stuff like that, and this Wikisource they are doing stuff like that. So it needs a bit of adaptation.
Great, thank you. When we were looking at the integrality dashboard, you pointed out how much more complete Bangla is in certain columns. Is that just through the dedicated efforts of passionate Wikimedians like Bodhi, or what could be done to bring that level of completeness to the other languages?
It's mostly Body, thanks to him.
No, I actually I have stopped all my other uh, Wikimedia related works like commons and all those things. I am right now only focusing on Wikisource and this data part. So yeah, so that's what is reflected in there. But Mahir is also there, and um, without him, it would have not been possible.
Yeah. And again, not all Wikisources are at the same level. So Bangla is quite a big Wikisource already, but some are like Czech, Polish, French, English have a lot of work. So 10% is a lot more text than 10% in Welsh or Breton Wikisource, for instance. And Bangla Wikisource started right at the beginning, which is also better.
I see. Thank you. We also had a question in the comments. Lydia was wondering if the problem with Listeria is known for Wikisource.
Yeah, so there's several problems with Listeria. It's not always reliable first. Sometimes it changes stuff for when data is not changed on Wikidata. Sometimes Listeria is acting up a little bit. And it has a specific formatting which is not exactly fit. Like the model, the hierarchy work and edition is something not understood by Listeria. Bodhi, you can say more a bit, maybe. Basically,
Yeah,
it's good,
go
but
ahead.
not enough for us.
I think it has stopped working not only for Wikisource but also for other projects. It is only working for Wikipedia Commons and Wikimedia Commons and Wikidata, but it is not working for other sister projects. So it is not only for us. I guess
Yeah.
we have to contact. There is a ticket for that in GitHub, or where the source code is for Magnus, but I guess he has not worked on it. So I'm not sure how this can be fixed, but I guess there will be some tweaks, and it can be fixed easily, I guess. But it needs Magnus's attention.
And I see another question. Is it more of a priority to create Wikidata items for sources that have open text available? So if you say exactly open text, not so much, because Wikisource is more focused on public domain text, which are open but not open license. And some people do work list. Oh, the books I want to proofread on Wikisource, that start doing it on Wikidata. I know that in French we have a sub project for feminism, putting text by female author, and they are doing the list before on Wikidata. But most of the time we have a lot of metadata depth. We have a lot of data that we need to take care before. So it's more priority to solve the current problem right now, I would guess. And data from Commons also, because sometimes there's the book on Commons and it's not on the Wikisource or stuff like that. So there's a lot of things. And Romain is asking, is there a data model for version edition and translation in Wikidata related to Wikisource? A good example. I think the main page is good enough. And especially the model is good for all books. If it's on Wikisource or not, it's mostly the same. If it's on Wikisource, there's a site link and the two property file and comments and page index. But otherwise, it's exactly the same model. We don't want a specific model for Wikisource. It's already complicated enough. So if you look at the general model, Romain, it should be enough. And if we are talking about the model, and if you want to do it, we can do the workshop part. Oh, you want a showcase item? Okay, now I understand. Yeah, the one that Body gave is a good. Any last question?
Yeah, any last questions? Now's the moment to ask. But I think maybe we'll take a few minutes break before we start the workshop, just for people to grab a drink or stretch their legs. So maybe at 10 minutes past the hour, we could meet back and begin the next portion.
In 5 minutes. Perfect.
In
See you
5.
soon.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Did you plan to share your screen and do some live editing, or did you have some examples to show off for the workshop portion?
Yeah, exactly. I will show some tricks how to do it more easily for like maybe 10 minutes, and then it's up to the people to do it themselves.
Okay.
To try, or just if they don't have ideas, they can just ask question or things like that. It could be more discussion than a workshop. We can see.
Do you have any sort of blank items or articles or documents that people can work on, or like a testing area that people can work on without causing anything to go on fire?
Not a testing area. I should have thought of that, but we have some. I have a query, Sparkle query of things that people can improve on existing items already. So it's 10 already. I can guess I can share my screen for one slide.
Sure. Yes, for anyone that's coming back, Nicholas and Body are going to have like a little workshop. We're going to have a great workshop for us with Wikisource, and yeah, just show us. Perhaps you could tell me if people are completely new to Wikisource, is there some links to like primer information or how-tos or tutorials, or like a place where they can start to round out their knowledge?
Yeah, I guess the Wikidata project books is the best place to start. It can be a bit complex for beginners because there's a lot of information. And I guess there will be the recording of this session if you want to look it afterwards. So yeah, just a quick one slide for ideas of things that you can do around the project for books in general, and for me for Wikisource in particular, I would say, but it's the same principle in both cases. There's a lot of items that need to be created. There is no clear data on how many books have been published in the world, but it's something around 100 million, more or less. It's not clear. It's not always clear where, if it's two books are the same edition or not. So that's why it's complicated to count, especially for all books. And we know that we have around 500,000 of edition right now in Wikidata. So we know that we have a lot of items to create, around 100 million. Sorry, Lydia, for the servers, but there's a lot of items to create. You can create it manually like you do every time on Wikisource. That's not a problem. But there's a tool that I like, which is called Cradle, which is English, sorry. Basically, Cradle is a form to help you create a new item. So you go to Cradle Toolforge, maybe Body, you can put URL in the chat. You have to log in first to say, oh, I'm connected to Wikidata. And then you have forms for everything from academic, researcher, actor, everything. And you have book edition, and basically you have all the label description, but then you have all the good property and only the good property that are here. So if you are a beginner and you don't know, oh, what property I should use, Cradle is a very good start. And also for old timers like me, sometimes I'm like, oh yes, there's title and subtitle. Oh, I'm in French again, sorry, in English. So there's a still in French for some reason. Title, subtitle, translator, things like that. I can forget sometimes, so it's always good to have it. And it's directly linked. So if I say, oh, the translator is John Smith, for instance, it found, should say, but all the John Smith on Wikidata, but for some reason the name is not appearing there. Okay. Oh, I was too quick, sorry. And then when you filled all the parameter, there's a button to save at the top bottom, and yeah, you created a new item. The thing is, before creating an item, you need to be sure that it's not already been done, and you don't want to create a duplicate. But for most books, I don't know, 60-70% of books, of documents in Wikisource already have an item. So most of things around Wikisource. So you can just grab a book nearby, take a look at it, and oh, is it on Wikidata or not, and create it. And if you are like me, when you created it, you can put the Q item label at the bottom to say, oh, I did it. And you can reuse it more simply. So yeah, Cradle is a good tool for that. If you have ID suggestion, feel free to try it right now. And as I said, there's creation, and then there's reuse, improving existing item. And there's a lot of items that are missing important data. That was the slide that we had before with integrity, or this slide. You know that there's a lot missing author or language or title, which are pretty easy to add. So I did a first Sparkle query, which is there. Books on English Wikisource with no author. If you don't know Sparkle, just trust me. This is a book which is on English Wikisource and don't have a title. And you have a full page, not an author. And you can just go to the item and say, oh, a Ballad of Ducks. This is, oh, this is an example of thing that I ate, but sadly it's very common. There's nothing. There's just, oh, it's a version edition translation. I'm again in English, sorry. English. And you can just go to English Wikisource and see, oh, the author is Banjo Patterson, apparently. That's the first one, so I can add it very quickly. Author Banjo Patterson. Which one is it? That's always the question. This one is 8064. 8064, yeah, that's the one. Or add the language. So this one is in English and things like that. Sometimes people like Bodhi or me are doing automatic retrieval from information. Like, oh, if it's on the English Wikisource, the language is probably English. But then there's a lot of exception because books are all different. And sometimes you have bilingual books, you have books in English or Canadian English or British English or modern English, old English, middle English. And on Wikisource, it's not always obvious what it is. There is tools way to improve it, but there's still a lot of things to do by hand. You can look at, so this one, for instance, is from Australia. So I don't know English, if it's standard English or not. Seems pretty standard to me, but maybe the language should be Australian English. That's why it's important to have a community to take care of that. And yeah, but basically that's it. And if you don't know Sparkle, there's easy thing. You can take my query and change, for instance, instead of English Wikisource, you say FR for French Wikisource or D for German Wikisource, things like that. Same here, you can change the P30 you say title, and it will give all the books on German Wikisource with no title, for instance. So there's a lot of things like that where you can find item to improve. And I guess that's it for the general introduction. And if you have questions, so you shared Cradle, perfect. Is there any question? Do you want to try something?
Maybe you have an empty, another example that I could look at. I was trying to follow along with the Banjo Pedersen example.
Yeah. Sorry. So too many tabs.
So I see you. I think you put the name there as Andrew Barton Peterson. Oh,
yes.
Pedersen. There we go. Pedersen. That's why. But there they listed as Banjo. So does Banjo also fit under like under a different property, like a nickname, or also known as?
Yes, you have a property in qualifier under the name. I guess it's something like that. I will type it in French, sous le nom. Object named as subject. Subject, object, subject, object. And you can.
Is there no property for a pen name? Is that what it's called when an author writes under a different name?
Pseudonym, there's alias used by somebody. Or nickname. But is it a pen name? Is it a nickname? Oh, it says pen name. So yeah, I guess pen name is the best one. And for nickname, it's not very often used because reason, I don't know why. It's very used for when people have several pseudonyms, and like in French, very well-known author, which is called Romain Gary, and he published other books under the name Émile Ajar, which is totally different. So to know which book he published under which name, it's important to put it there. That's very interesting. And sometimes, yes, like people, sometimes they are writing Pollard's book, thrillers, under one name, and book for children under another name. So that could be useful to put it that way.
Great, thanks. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or wants to go through some other examples, please let us know. You could unmute your microphone or post in the chat. And whilst we're waiting for any of those to come up, I was wondering, since this is like an event where we look at Wikidata integrations to Wikimedia projects, if what we've seen today is like what represents like a perfect example of Wikidata, if it's 100%, or can you see other ways that Wikidata could be further integrated to Wikisource?
Bodhi, do you have a comment on that?
Maybe you have some wishes or dreams that we might see in the future or work towards, or maybe there's something that's not working perfectly right now, like we sort of mentioned with Listeria, that probably exists in a fabricated ticket somewhere.
I get we want unicorns everywhere, so we have a lot of wishes. But which one are the most like Listeria is not working? Was the problem, but now that we have Tikalac, we have a solution for that. Maybe it's not perfect, but at least it works. And the problem behind Listeria or Tikalac is the more general problem to do queries, to display queries in Wikimedia project, which was supposed to be the phase 3 of Wikidata 10 years ago. Wikidata query does that, but externally, we want it be displayed in it. And the more general but complicated problem is, documents are very heterogeneous. They are all different. So we want a magic tool to say, oh, this was cataloged as a book, but it's an edition, or no, it's a work, things like that. But that's library science. That's not easy.
Yeah, I have a wish actually.
Yeah,
so
go on. I know you have wish.
No, but I mean, it's kind of an ambitious wish. Maybe I'm impractical. I don't know. So I wish that maybe we can somehow integrate Wikidata Lexeme with Wikisource, like in the textual content. So there is no way that, for now, there is no way that we can actually select a word and see if that is a noun or adjective, or if that is what is the what are the forms, or what is the meaning of that word, or what that word can translate into different languages, or what is the etymology, or whatever that is related to that data of that word. There is no way to do that. Wikidata lexeme is creating in one place, Wiktionary is creating in another place, Wikisource is creating in another place, but there is no way to link them together currently. But and we should also have to do it in a very cool way, like a very cool tool which can like give you all the colors, like these are the nouns and these are the adjectives and so on and so forth. And if you hover on it, it can give you a pop-up window of something. So these are the just imaginations. I am not sure if that can be technically possible, but if it is possible, then why not?
Yeah.
Sure. I think it's just a moment to speak it out and reach for the stars, you know.
Yeah. And Bodhi was talking about lexeme, which is lexicographical data. So for text, it's an obvious one, but there are all the fields of name entity recognition, where you have a text which is speaking about a specific person or a specific place. And it would be cool to have a tool to recognize, oh, this is Paris in France, or this is Paris in things like that. So there's a lot of things. I know there's research and tools that have been tried for that, but yeah, like Bodhi says, in a robust way and more efficient way, that would be very cool, and that would bring more value to Wikisource, because Wikisource is basically just proofreading, and people want to know more. Like, oh, I want to know more about the place, about the people behind, what other stuff, increase discoverability, navigability, things like that. So yeah, interconnection with Wikidata, more interconnection with Wikidata would be better.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, I think that was something I was going to follow, was like how can the communities become more interconnected, or more close, come more closely together.
And one thing also is that some people are doing stuff like that, but by hand. Like annotation, they put a little template to say, oh, this is France in Q1 form 2 France. And you're like, no, there's probably a way to do it automatically to be more efficient, to not waste time, human time, on things obvious, and use human time to proofread books, and use the machine and the bots where they could be used. And I see that Maya is writing so many stuff in the chat about that. So yeah. A little script on Angular, yeah, and things like that. Yeah. And Elwin is saying like a Google Dictionary Chrome extension that search the word and resolve the language and meaning. That's in a tool like that, which is mostly lexeme. Wikisource could be used as an example. So yeah, sure. And I know that there's people working on that. Like we know now that Google Translate or ChatGPT can, or any AI can do good translation, but when it's a very specific text, like Wikisource is all text, it could be good to have a manually better curated list. Yeah, Elwin, go on.
Yes. By the way, wonderful presentation. And yeah, actually, how it works is just an extension installed in Chrome, and then you click double to the word, and the word is searched on some websites. In this case, would go to the lexemes, check whether this is a language of English, Spanish, or any other language, and then return the gloss for this word, basically. And that's what Google Dictionary does in any website. So it just pops up a message under the word where you click it twice.
Yeah, it sounds very cool, and I will contact you later for that. Same for aussi one-click info, Lydia. That seems promising. It's almost half the hour, so one or two last quick questions.
Yeah, maybe I can ask a question. Who do you think benefits the most from the Wikisource project? Is it like is it inspired and mostly done for volunteers and community members, or is there scope for librarians or other professionals that get benefit from it?
That's not a small question, but yeah, but it depends a lot on the language. Like I know that in some language, Wikisource is really activist act, like to preserve the language. I'm taking care of the Breton Wikisource, which is almost dead language, so that's a specific case. And obviously, English Wikisource has a lot of competitor online library, so it's not the same. I know that on some Wikisource also it's really used as a source for Wikipedia, for instance. So there's a direct use. There's a lot of case. There's also there's library a little bit, but archives. Archives very often don't have their own website for proofreading text, so they use Wikisource as a platform for proofreading. And there's so many other cases. So maybe Modi, you have 1 or 2 examples of usage of Wikisource.
Yeah, I can give 1 or 2 examples. I guess I have seen people from language technology are using Wikisource instead of Wikipedia, because Wikisource is like the proofread and transcripted part is mostly verifiable. You can check the scans and verify with the text. And so I have seen people from the language technology, like in IIT Delhi. I have seen I've seen in Jadavpur University. They are using the text maybe for building something new. And I have heard that people are using it for building LLM and SLM. There is a lot of traffic from outside of India on Bangla Wikisource. I am not sure why. There is a lot of spider which is visiting our website. Maybe that is because they are using it for AI. So yes, there are potentials. Not only the readers or the editors or volunteers. Outside of Wikimedia, there are lots of potential. Yes.
Great, thank you very much. So we just have past. I think we had about another half hour scheduled for the workshop. So if anyone has any questions, but if there aren't, people can recoup their time. That's not a problem. But please, if you do have any questions that you think of later that don't come to mind now, put them in the chat, and we'll make sure they get onto the Etherpad, and then maybe we can pose them to Bodhi or Nicholas later.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, Nicholas and Bodhi, for the presentation.
Thank you.
Workshop.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
No, it's our pleasure. Thank you. So everyone, that kind of closes out the planned sessions we had today. If people are willing and spirit is strong, we could finish up the day by playing some games. I'm going to share with you the survey reminder once again, because I'd be very happy if you could give your thoughts. Do you see the screen?
Yes.
Oh, good, because for me it's just blank.
Indeed. You see a blank screen.
Oh, okay, you do see a blank screen. Let's try stop sharing that again.
You take care. It's supposed to be a game. Let's see.
Yeah, let's hope so. If I can get it working.
You're gonna play that game. You're You're going to play that game. You want to sit in a chair and play it?
No.
No, why not?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
There we go.
Let's see.
Yes, so everyone, if you could please take some time once again to fill out the survey, or only do it once if you've already filled it out. No need to fill it in again. I'll just leave this up for a few moments before I bring up one of the Wikidata games. But which one? That's the question. I think I want to play a little bit more Wiki trivia. And for our technical support team, I think you can go ahead and end the recording there. Thank you very much.